Guess we gotta do infantry. Let's go! What's going on, my beautiful governors? Welcome to a new Rise of Kingdoms video. Today we're gonna do part 2 of 3-1-1 series. This time we're gonna discuss infantry. 3 infantry marches, budget versions of those marches, your 1 cavalry and 1 archer march, and 5 tiers of equipment for your infantry marches. Without further ado, wait. I already said let's go. I don't know what to say. Here we go.
Spartans! What is your profession?
Pair number 1 for infantry is Guan Yu and Scipio. I've talked about this march a lot in my previous videos. They're just so good together. Guan Yu and Scipio, best 2 infantry commanders in Rise of Kingdoms, and luckily they also work so well together. They have good synergies. Guan has silence and Scipio can benefit from that silence by gaining more rage. So yeah, I love this march. If you're an infantry main, this is a must-have march in my opinion. Guan Yu and Scipio Africanus, perfect pair. Our pair number 2 is Pakal and Herald. Now, I know that Pakal is not very universal. He's really like Attila, right? He is very specific, but we just cannot ignore the power of Pakal Herald. We know that Pakal Herald is like infantry version of Attila Takeda, but on top of having amazing normal attack damage, amazing counter-attack damage, they are tankier than Attila Takeda, and they also deal good amount of skill damage thanks to Herald and his skill popping off every few seconds. So to me, this is the second best infantry march in Rise of Kingdoms at the moment. But if you don't want to invest on Pakal, if he doesn't fit your playstyle, what you can do is, alternatively, I don't have an infographic for it, so sorry about that, Guan Leonidas and Herald Scipio. This is an option if you don't want to invest on Pakal, but I think, as I said, this is the second best infantry march in the game. At number 3, we have Alexander and CJ. These 2 commanders work so good together. They have shield and debuff from Alexander. They have movement speed. They have ridiculous amount of damage, but they just don't have the tankiness. So that's why this is pair number 3. Alex CJ, just like Pakal, CJ is also not the most compelling investment. But if you're going to go for 3 infantry marches, I think you should have these commanders maxed. Now for my fellow free-to-play and low spenders, we are going to move on to budget versions of these 3 marches. Pair number 1 is good old Guan Yu and Leonidas. In this commander configuration, we have Leonidas at 5551. He is one of the best 5511 commanders in Rise of Kingdoms. And we have 3 options for Guan Yu. 5111. Yes, Guan Yu is good to go at 5111. He's not going to perform amazing, but if you have him at level 60 and if you have some sculptures, you can start using him at 5111 because his main benefit, his main thing is that AoE damage and AoE silence coming from that first skill. But if you're willing to spend a little bit more, then 5155 is the way to go for open field only. It's tricky to skip a certain skill in Rise of Kingdoms. It takes a lot of luck and skill reset, so it's not very reliable. You cannot guarantee that you are going to get him to 5155, but the option is there. But if you have the sculptures, definitely max Guan Yu, 100% worth it. Subscribe to Spartan Gaming.
What are you doing?
I'm telling our viewers to subscribe.
Yeah, I can see that, but it doesn't work like that.
Subscribe.
Get out.
Now we can peacefully go to our pair number 2. Infantry pair number 2 on our budget section is Herald and Alexander. You can try both of them as primaries, but I like Herald Alex more than Alex Herald, and it was actually a recommendation from one of our subscribers, and I gave it a shot and haven't looked back since. So whoever it was, thank you so much for recommending Herald primary instead of Alex primary. That's what I use. I love this march. If you want to make this even more budget friendly, you may go for 5551 Alex instead of expertise, but he's just so good with the expertise, so I think he's worth it. So he's an early game commander, and you will have a lot of time, plenty of time, to expertise Alexander the Great during your Rise of Kingdoms journey. Next, we have pair number 3. It is Moctezuma and Charlemagne. Okay, when it comes to third pair of the budget version for infantry, we have a lot of options. First of all, we want to utilize our best gold key commander, which is Charles Martel. In my opinion, he is like best or the second best gold key commander in the game, Mehmed and Charles Martel. So if you want to go more tanky, if you want to mimic that Pakal Herald, you can go for Charles and Epic Scipio. When they're paired together, they won't have much skill damage, but they will have a lot of counter-attack damage, a lot of tankiness, and a lot of troops actually. Epic Scipio Africanus increases your troop capacity, so it's going to be an extremely tanky march with extremely high counter-attack damage. But if you want more skill damage, then instead of Scipio, you can use Sun Tzu, Charles Martel paired with Sun Tzu. And if you have a max YSG and if you don't have a good primary, Charles Martel paired with YSG is definitely a decent march. By the way, you can start using your Charles Martel on the field when he's at least 5511. If you get him to 5511, he's good to go. Obviously not the best commander in the game, but still one of the best gold key commanders and a decent infantry commander. Our last option is a 5511 Richard paired with Ethelflaed. Many people do have Richard even though they are not infantry mains, because 5511 Richard with a max YSG is the best march to chain barbarians. So I assume that a lot of you have a 5511 Richard. And if you want to utilize Richard for open field, it's not my top recommendation, but if you want to do that, Richard with Ethelflaed is a decent debuff march that can help your other marchers deal more damage. Now we are going to take a look at our best of the best 1 cavalry and 1 archer marches. Look at this cavalry wait, you can't, right? Ooh. Okay, look at our 1 march cavalry options. The versatility of cavalry we have already discussed in our first video, cavalry version of this video. If you missed that, card up in the top. I will say the best option is Alexander Nevsky paired with Joan of Arc. But as you can see, we have 5 different options. Nevsky Joan, Nevsky William, XY Nevsky, XY Joan, and XY William. Some of them are better than the others, but none of them are significantly better than the others, which is important because let's say you already have a max XY. All you want to do is to max out your Nevsky to pair with your XY. You don't have to go for absolute best. You don't have to go for Nevsky Joan of Arc, because if you do that, your XY investment will be wasted. So don't try to go for the absolute best. Try to go for one of these marches. All work amazing. And our 1 archer march, just like we discussed in the cavalry video, it's either Boudica Artemisia, but if you already have a max YSG, a 5551 YSG, you don't need to invest on Boudica just to have the best pair. So our 1 archer march is Boudica YSG or Boudica Artemisia. Now let's talk about the equipment. This is in my opinion the bare minimum beginner equipment for infantry. We have 4 pieces from Windswept set. We have Blessed Blade, which is an amazing item, gives a lot of health. When I say beginner, by the way, I'm not talking about, at the start of the game, because you obviously won't have access to these equipment pieces and materials. What I mean is early KVK, KVK1, KVK2. This is the equipment combination for your infantry marches before you go to open field. So what we did in the mid-game option, we kept 2 pieces from Windswept set for 2 pieces set bonus. We have crafted a Karak's Humility. We have crafted a Gatekeeper's Shield, Frost Threats, and Set Brutality. All these pieces are amazing in my opinion, and once you get this, you will feel the difference, you will notice the difference, and you will understand how important equipment is. Let's move on to the late game. Here's our late game option, and you may notice a few things. The first thing is we still have a blue piece, which is Gatekeeper's Shield. This piece is just amazing. I don't see any reason to replace it with a Sakura Fubuki. And speaking of Sakura Fubuki, as you can see, we have skipped 3 epic pieces. Those are Sakura Fubuki, Queen Soul, which is the chest gear, and Witch's Lineage, which is the helmet. I hate those items because they give attack. Attack stat is the last thing I want in Rise of Kingdoms, because there are so many ways to increase your attack already, and because of the diminishing returns of the stats, I don't want to have any attack pieces unless they are a part of a set. And besides Hope Cloak, we have Legendary Helm and Legendary Boots. Please ignore the special talent on the boots. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be special talented. And also, it doesn't have to be the boots. It can either be boots or the gloves, because Epic Boots and Epic Gloves gives exactly the same amount of stats, and just like them, Legendary Boots and Legendary Gloves for infantry set also gives the exact same stat. So what you want to do is you want to craft the one that you have the blueprint. It could be either boots or gloves. Definitely want to upgrade your Windswept pieces to legendary pieces before anything else. And here is the end game. We have Hope Cloak and Eternal Night, chest piece and leg piece. Those pieces are not part of a set, and you can get those blueprints from various events. I don't know, Lost Canyon, like they're easy to get. And we have 4 pieces from infantry set: weapon, helm, gloves, and boots. I think this is the perfect end game gear for your infantry march. In fact, I have this gear on my Guan Yu. But even better, I have this extreme gear on my Herald, but none of them special talented. Like, I've crafted so many legendary pieces, and I think I got 1 or 2 special talents. That's so bad. Like, come on, Lilith. You gotta increase the chances for a special talent. This is the extreme version. The only difference is instead of set helm and set weapon, we have KVK helm and KVK weapon. And of course, you can try to get special talents on all of them. Good luck with that. Hope you guys liked it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. This was our best 3-1-1 infantry configuration in Rise of Kingdoms. A quick disclaimer before I end the video. I think we will have new infantry commanders very soon, so do not invest on any infantry commanders yet. Let's see those new commanders and then we can decide if we still want to invest on older commanders or not. A special thank you for our channel members. Thank you guys so much for your huge support. And if you missed cavalry version of this video, this concept, it should be up here right now. Make sure to check it out. I see you guys on that video. Bye.